guys. I hope that you guys are doing amazing wherever you are in the world. My name is Shikha and I welcome you to my channel. As always, I'm really grateful that you guys are spending time with me, listening to me, subscribing, commenting, etc. And again, if you guys want to support me further, you can do that by going to my Patreon link. The link is in the description below. In this video, I want to speak to you guys about bitterness, and a really interesting question that a subscriber asked me or a viewer asked me, YWLL. I don't know what that means exactly, that's his name, his or her name. And the question was, on the other hand, I really identify with what you said on the broader perspective. We always seek the way out of the disharmony, and even when we break apart, we know that we can fix that with inner work. He's speaking particularly about my video on bitterness and how bitterness is like drinking poison, hurting us more than them. And he asked me the question, how to break the bitter and cynical cycle though, that comes after all the stress and distrust. How to break the bitter and cynical cycle? It's such a fascinating question. And again, of course, I'm not saying that I'm an expert in any way, shape, or form, but I've been through it and I've gotten over it. And so I thought I'd share a couple of things that I did in order to get over that bitterness, in order to get over that cynicism. Not that I'm saying I'm completely over it yet. I still believe that I have bits and pieces of it left behind in my heart that causes me sometimes to close off to people. And so I'm not completely over my bitterness. I'm not completely over my cynicism. I still have pieces of it. But for the most part, I have hope and I have trust for humanity in general. I believe that even despite the hopelessness of the situation with regards to the environment and the things people are doing on this planet, I still have hope that there is going to be a future, that humanity will survive and we're not going to destroy the world and kill everyone. Yeah. So there is both sides of us in everything that we do. We are a contradictory creature as an INFJ. I've said this so many times before, and I don't even think I need to say that to you. You guys know this inherently within yourself because everything that you do is based on contradiction. You love yourself, you hate yourself. You love humanity, you hate humanity. You want to do a lot of work, you want to sit in a corner and cry, you know? So there's all of these different portions to us. And that's what I've realized. And I think that's what I've accepted about myself is that I'm not going to completely negate that bitter, cynical side of myself. In fact, I think that bitter, cynical side of myself actually helps me become a complete and whole human being. I've said this before to you guys several times. I think our idealistic nature actually holds us back sometimes because our perfectionist, idealistic nature believes that we're not going to undertake something unless it's absolutely perfect or we're absolutely perfect, right? We're not going to try even because we're not there yet. We believe that we need to do this and that and be this person or do that thing before we're even ready to take that endeavor on. And we don't know how long that's going to take. Sometimes it might take years before we get to that point. If we just started at the point where we're like, all right, I'm not ready yet, but I'm just going to do it, even with my imperfect state, we would have been so much further ahead. Yeah. For example, I'll give you a quick example of my own life. These videos, right? For the longest time, I believed that I had to be a certain kind of person in order to talk on YouTube. I had to be a certain presence. I had to be a celebrity. I had to know certain things. I had to have certain degrees. I had to be spiritually awakened in some manner or be enlightened or something like that, yeah? And if I wasn't that perfect human being that's allowed to speak to other people and tell her things that she thinks about, then I'm not allowed to do that. Yeah. So for the longest time I waited. I was waiting for that moment in time where suddenly my mind or my heart would tell me, you're ready. You're there now. And if I had waited for that moment, I think I might have been waiting forever because I would never have gotten to that point. I'm still not at that point. Definitely not. And I'm just sharing my thoughts with you because I find it interesting and I just like it. I'm not doing it because I think I'm wiser than you guys in any shape or form or better than you. I just like sharing my thoughts in this format, yeah. So that's the only thing I'm doing here. I'm not doing it in a perfect manner. I'm not doing it in a professional manner. I'm not doing it in a polished manner. I'm just doing it, right? And so I had to get over myself. I had to get over my idealistic, perfectionistic side and be like, I'm just gonna do it. You know, I'm just going to freaking do it, and that's it. Yeah. Now, of course, my bitterness and my cynicism always comes through and be like, no one's gonna listen to you, no one's gonna care about your shit. Why are you even bothering, etc., etc. So then when people actually started caring and started listening and liking my material, I was extremely surprised, to say the least. Yeah. But that obviously gave me the benefit of the doubt and be like, all right, cool, yeah, people are liking it, even if it's one person, even if it's two, even if it's 100, even if it's 7,000 now, yeah? So I started doing it and I kept on doing it, thankfully, yeah. So I think what needs to happen is that our idealistic, perfectionistic side needs to be balanced out with our bitter, cynical side. Yeah. Because I don't think we can just live in the world being idealistic. I think a lot of times, I've said this to you guys before, INFJs negate themselves and hold themselves back by being idealistic, by being this perfectionistic nature where you're like, everything has to be perfect, everything is beautiful, I'm not going to do anything unless it is so. And if it never gets that way, then I'm just going to sit in my room by myself for the rest of my life. I think, not that I'm saying the bitterness or the cynicism is a good thing, but I think that balances out our idealistic nature. Yeah. Because then we are able to, with our bitterness, with our cynicism, see the world in a more realistic manner. And that's actually a really good thing for an INFJ, to be able to see the world in a more realistic manner. I'm always, as an INFJ, trying to do that because I'm always wearing my rose-colored glasses. I always have these glasses that make me see the world in a way where everything's perfect, everything's awesome, everyone's great, everyone's kind, everything's generous. But it's not always that way, yeah? People are mean, people are cruel, people do stupid things, people will hurt you. Doesn't mean that you close yourself off completely, but realize that yes, people can be good, but they can also be bad. People can be good, but they can also be cruel. People can be good, but they can also be mean, yeah? A lot of the trolls that have been coming up to me and saying mean things are proving that fact in point, right? Point in fact, fact in point. Anyways. But it is balanced out by the thousands of people who are kind and generous and good, right? So if I was only idealistic, I'd be like, well, the world sucks, these people are mean, and I hate everyone, I'm not going to do any of these videos anymore. But because of the balance I'm trying to gain with my idealistic and bitter side, or the cynical side, I say to myself, yeah, good, yes, the world is terrible. The world is filled with terrible people, but it's also filled with good people, yeah? And so that's one of the things I want you guys to look at whenever you're looking at your bitter, cynical side. My main thing with everything that I do is to love every side of myself. Every bitter, every cynical, every terrible, every slimy, every shadowy side of myself. Now, it's easy to love the good parts of you, right? It's easy to love the idealistic nature because it's a nice, pure, happy nature. You know, you're like, okay, good, I'm idealistic, that's awesome, I love myself for that. It's harder to love those ugly sides of yourself. Ugly because we've labeled it so. But my main thing with all these videos I do for you guys is I want you to start loving all of your different sides, yeah? Loving the fact that you're an introvert, it's a good thing, yeah? There's a lot of good things to it. Loving the fact that you're a contradiction in itself, it's a good thing. That's why you're able to see the world not just from one side, but from both sides. And loving the fact that you're bitter and cynical at points, yeah? Also realizing there has to be balance between the two sides, but realizing that it's not necessarily just a completely negative side of you. It actually helps you, protect you in this world where sometimes you need to be a little bit bitter, a little bit cynical, otherwise you're just going to be taken advantage of. And you're just going to roam around the world open, and things might happen where you're like, oh my God, I can't believe that I was open and this happened to me, right? So my thing always is stay as open as you can until the world gives you notice or does something that makes you close yourself off. And if you have your bitter side, your cynical side open and aware and awake, and your idealistic side, obviously, it's easy to be open in your idealistic sense, but have your cynical side open as well so you can walk through the world and realize when someone's taking advantage of you. Okay? That's what happens to INFJs. We're like, no, people are good, we're idealistic, people are awesome, they're good, they're going to take care of us. And sometimes they don't. And then we're like, but what the? We were on our idealistic nature and we got surprised by the fact that people are sometimes not good. If we had our bitter and cynical side awake as well at the same time and realizing that, yes, sometimes the world is stupid and does stupid things, then we wouldn't be surprised by it. we would still be able to remain open because they're like, yeah, of course, people do stupid things. Yeah, people hurt us sometimes, yes. Doesn't mean everyone is going to hurt us, but sometimes things happen, right? And so that's what I want you guys to do, to be open to both sides of yourself and don't think that you have to completely negate and remove this bitter, cynical side of yourself. In fact, I think that would be a bad thing because it would be terrible if you were only completely idealistic. You wouldn't be able to live completely and fully in this world, okay? All right. I hope this makes sense. I know that it's a little bit of an abstract topic, and of course, you might have questions on it, so do comment below, and I will try to answer them as much as possible. If you guys want to support me further, obviously you can do that with my Patreon link is in the description below. And I'm so grateful that you guys are here with me. I'm so happy. I can't believe I've reached 7,000 and something subscribers. It just is it's mind-boggling to me. So I just want to thank you. And I shall see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.